here in the world and Panama. Phil?
I hope everybody's doing well today. Just so that you know, we backed into owning Finca Santa Marta. It wasn't it wasn't a goal of mine to own a farm 10 years ago.
Phil.
Yeah.
Right there.
Right here?
Yeah, so you're talking to the camera for the Zoom view.
All right,
in the
right.
middle. Not one side or the other, in the middle.
Okay, there we go. All right. So it wasn't our goal to own a farm 10 years ago, but we were feeding, clothing, and educating 7,000 children a day, and food was always an issue. And food prices historically have always gone up. At the time we bought the farm, food prices were at a historic low, and now they're at a 47-year high and moving upwards from there. The other thing about farming is that it's kind of like being a doctor. I know we have some doctors in the house, and they call what you do a practice because there's always something you don't know. And farming's a lot that way. I remember when I was an ag major in high school, I went to visit a friend's farm, and his dad was a real farmer. I was just playing at it along with about 40 other students. And so all my friends were lined up at a rail, and I went over to see what they were doing, and they were looking at a cow. And they said, "Hey, Phil, tell 1084 to come see you." And so I said, "1084, come here, see me." And the cow with the tag 1084 split off from the others, came running up to the fence like a puppy dog. And I was like, "Oh, that's sweet." And we're all petting, and me and a bunch of teenage guys are all petting this cow. And they said, "Phil, tell 1084 to give you a kiss." And so I said, "Oh, you gotta be 1084, give me a kiss." And that cow stuck its tongue right in my mouth. And before I could get its tongue out of my mouth, I thought, I am never living this one down. I'll always be the guy who kissed the cow. So 4 years of agricultural training in high school, being involved in organics since the 80s as a hobby, certified with the North Texas Organics Association. Now it's a National Organics Association to teach their material. But when I came here to Panama, I realized that it wasn't sustainable, and that if we were going to teach others to do what we were doing, which is the whole point, that we had to find sustainable ways of doing it. So we made a lot of adjustments on our farm, made a lot of adjustments to what we do. You realize you can't run to Home Depot or Lowe's anymore and buy amendments. You can't even have them delivered by a truckload, so you got to figure out what you're doing. So that's exactly what we did. Got to talking to some of the group members about what we could do in the comarca, what we could do in some other areas. I believe that every school should have an organic gardening plan where they grow food on their campus. Every organization that has any empty spots at all should be growing food, because food is quickly becoming a huge issue. It was a huge issue a year ago. It's even a bigger issue now. Just 2 days ago, one of the major studies done by the United Nations came out with a report and said that we are currently existing on a 10-week wheat supply worldwide. That there's only a 10-week backlog of wheat worldwide. And there was some talk of establishing a farming program, helping the Comarca Indians learn farming, but it was a very complicated program. And so I suggested that why don't we look at what we did in Africa with our group in Uganda and in this small town in Uganda, had 2,000 people there. It was a food desert in Lutembe, Uganda, and we turned it from a food desert that only had 2 stores selling junk food. We started doing moringa trees, we started doing a rabbit project, and we started doing micro gardens for families. And within a year, we were able to revolutionize the entire community, where many families were feeding themselves. Some did not eat rabbit, but we were able to teach them how to market their rabbit and sell it to others so that they could buy the food that they wanted. But it's a tremendous program. If you don't know about moringa, moringa is considered the miracle tree. It is the second most nutritious plant in the world. It is the first most nutritious plant grown on the earth. You got to go to the ocean to get one more nutritious. And we're talking about 27 vitamins and minerals, 4 times the protein of yogurt. You can use 93% of the tree as edible. It can be used first for food for families. It can be used as fodder to feed animals. It can be used as a fertilizer for gardens. And we could also purchase back the seed pods, known as drumsticks, to create moringa oil and have an economic program so that the comarca people could sell us back these things. Well, in order to do that, what we did in Africa, we had a home base. And we had rabbits. We started with 4 rabbits. Then we added 6 more. And within a year, we had 300 rabbits at the home base. And we were giving away rabbits 3 at a time. Here, I would do it 4 at a time. Because with 1 male and 3 females, you can create the same amount of protein that 3 steers can give you. The problem with steers is that once you butcher them, you have to refrigerate or freeze that protein. With rabbit, you have an ongoing protein source, constantly every 10 to 12 weeks growing older. And in fact, a female can be pregnant with 1 litter and get pregnant with another litter at the same time. It's not advisable. 3 to 4 litters a year per female is advisory. Breeding them at 5 months old is advisory. Eating them at 12 weeks old is what you would normally do. So if you can eat a cute little bunny, great. If you can't, maybe you should go to France or you should go to some of these other countries and see them prepare this as a gourmet food, because it's a phenomenal protein source. It's some of the best protein on the face of the earth. Only meat chickens will give you a better food to protein ratio as far as production. The problem with meat chickens is they are unsustainable, because you have to have your own brooder. You have to be able to take the egg and then hatch it into a chick. And so most our meat chickens at Finca Santa Marta are purchased as chickens, as little baby chicks, and raised to be used as meat. So the idea was, how do we face some things that are going on in our world today with food shortages? Now in Panama, we are insulated in a way. We're seeing food shelves full. We're seeing, actually, I go into stores and I see stuff on top of the shelves where you can't even get it. And it would be easy for us to think it's not going to happen here. But North America has a tendency all over the world of it gets a cold and sneezes, and every place else is going to get a cold. All you have to do is look to your gas prices right now, your fuel prices, and understand that that situation was created in North America. You end 3 or 4 sources of oil in domestic exploration, and then you start exporting oil to the Ukraine, and you stop buying it from Russia, and all of a sudden diesel is $8 to $10 a gallon, as it should be very soon. And every time fuel goes up $1 a gallon, if you are fertilizing in a traditional way, your fertilizer bill doubles. Okay, so if you're fertilizing chemically, your fertilizer bill doubles. Not only if you do that, but if you fertilize chemically, basically you're impacting the soil that you're in, and you're going to have a soil that is not aerobic very quickly. And so Finca Santa Marta is the oldest certified organic farm in Panama, I believe, and the government has agreed with this, that we're the best certified organic farm in Panama. We are not a coffee farm. We can't grow coffee where we're at. So I'm happy for the coffee growers in Rotary. I love the product that's coming out of Boquete, but we can't duplicate that. That's not what we're about. But we can put some of the best vegetables on your table that you can imagine. We're expanding our product line. We're going into vinegars and different kinds of things that we're expanding. We have a tropical fire cider. We're at Tuesday market every Tuesday. And so I was approached to, how do we have these rabbits ready to go? And we can put a hutch and 4 rabbits. We can sow 6 to 10 moringa trees into a school or a family. We can also create foods that we give away. How do we do this? And the percolation of thought came to the place where if Rotary Club members and other people were willing to do an advanced purchase, if you will, buy a package of food and do that, and then purchase it out, spend it out over time, that we would have all the money we needed to put in the rabbit pens and to buy the rabbit stock, and I'd like to see us plant 100,000 moringa seedlings so that we have those ready to go when it's time to give those away. All that stuff costs money now. In order for us to do this 6 months from now, we've got to get started now. The other thing that we can do is provide a food security for families of the Rotary, and by that I mean you would become a VIP customer of Finca Santa Marta, and you could get your product either at Tuesday Market, you could order it off our website, or we could deliver it here at the Rock on Thursdays. And eventually, I'd like to just have home delivery available in Boquete, where a little guy on a motorcycle will come up to your doorstep and deliver your order to you. So what we came up with is for $200, you would receive, we're looking at gift cards right now. We're trying to implement that. But right now, let's just make it easy. For $200, you would receive $250 worth of groceries that you could purchase at any time you want. And then the Rotary would receive $50 worth of donated groceries to use in the different programs of the Rotary, wherever the Rotary decides to place those groceries. It might be moringa powder capsules for the Manchichi project. It might be food for the Hogar Vista, or it might be, you name it. If we do this 4 times a year, every 10 to 12 weeks, we offer 120 slots available. 125, I'm sorry. We offer 125 slots available. That means that we could raise $25,000 worth of food, minimum, for the Rotary to use within its projects. This can't, from what I understand, this can't be done as an official Rotary project. This is not the official Rotary project. Down the road will be the official one where we use moringa trees and rabbits and education to provide food security for those needy families, whether they be in the comarca or school systems or whatever it may be. But right now, we can provide food security for your family, make you a VIP customer of Finca Santa Marta. You're going to get $300 worth of groceries for $200. $50 is going to benefit you, and $50 is going to benefit the children and the needy that the Rotary is already touching. So that's the plan, that's the program. We plan to offer it 4 times a year. Mainly that will happen through email communications, not me standing up here. But I'll be happy to give a progress report at any given time about us building the cages for the rabbits and all the things that we're doing. We have beef cattle on our property right now. We're trying to do a blend, get a better source of beef going on, but this is going to be grass-fed beef. I'm looking to dry age our beef 14 days, which is kind of the perfect spot for grass-fed, and so that we're offering some really good steaks and things like that in the future. And so this will help us to expand our product line. It'll help us to meet the needs of the local community better, and I think it'll help you in that, and we'll provide some food security for Rotary members, and we can join together as a community. The bottom line is, with everything that's going on, if you wait for the government to solve the problem, it's going to be too late. If you try to solve it yourself, you'll only be able to do a little bit. But if we do it as a community, we can stand together and solve something for us. I have 14 employees on the farm. There's no way you could duplicate what we're doing on the farm. Finca Santa Marta is 45 acres. It is some of the most gorgeous property in Panama, I think. It has 3.5 feet of topsoil. I could sell the topsoil for more than I bought the farm. The average farm in Panama, as far as I know, has 1 to 3 inches of topsoil on average. We have 3.5 feet of topsoil covering 45 acres. We have a kilometer of riverfront. We have a permit to remove 36,000 gallons a day from that river. At the height of summer, right now, we're taking 30,000 gallons a week. We also have 3 wells on the property, so we go through our rainwater catchment. We go through the wells first before we start pumping up water from the river. And again, we are certified organic, which means that there's 2 inspections by the government every year. There's also, we have carried 2 other certificates of being organic, and it's more difficult to be organic here than it is to be organic in the United States. So are there any questions? I don't want to be here as just I'm selling a program, but I do want to say I believe we have the best produce available in Panama, and we can offer it to you at a discount, and you'll be helping us to provide for a future program that will really have an impact, not only here in our area, but as a pilot program that could be used all throughout Central and Latin America. Oh, and Tom bought the first 2 packages. Thank you, Tom. I really appreciate it.
I think this is a great program. I'm very happy to have bought in, and I'm curious how many other people have bought in so far.
Well, right now you're the only one because this is our first time to present it.
Look, people, get busy. This is the chance of a lifetime to secure food that won't be available.
So, yes. Sure.
I had the opportunity of visiting Finca Santa Marta with Tim, the member, about 3-4 weeks ago, and it is an amazing establishment. The setup is really good. The chickens I saw are grown in amazing conditions, and the farm, as Phil says, it's amazing. Phil, you did mention that there would be a chance perhaps for some of us Rotarians to come out to the farm for a visit at some stage.
Well, I would love to have you come and visit, and if you become one of our priority members, I won't charge you. Otherwise, we'll do like $20. But we have great food. We have a chef that prepares. We have sangria and other things available, and we do it in the morning, and then we have lunch together, and then it pours over and teach people how to plant trees, and we show them. We're working toward having Panama's first certified organic egg. It's not going to be easy because that means we have to grow all the food for our chickens on the farm itself. There's no organic food available for chickens or livestock that I know of in Panama. If you know a source, please let me know. But we haven't found any, and so that's one of the issues we're facing. But we have our own pelletizer. We're going to be making food for the chickens. Eventually, I'd like to have a small beef-bedded pork operation. We want to keep everything small and localized, and but yeah, the chickens are on almost an acre of land, and they are very happy, and we use all kinds of different strategies to keep them fed.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that the food we had when we did visit the farm, which was unexpected, was just incredible. Their chef, what they could do over there was, yeah, I've never tasted salad like that in my life before. It was really great. I'd really recommend we go.
This is $200 per person per year, or how is it that Tom has 2 times a year?
You can buy as many packages as you want.
Okay.
What you're going to get for $200 is the ability to purchase $250 worth of clothing.
Got it.
Okay. And in addition to that, we are going to donate $50 worth of groceries to the Rotary. So if we do this 4 times a year with 125 slots available each time, and that means people outside the Rotary can participate, which is really cool, because I think we only have 41 members here. But if we've already had a lot of interest outside the Rotary but for each one that sells, I'm donating to the Rotary. So that we have the potential of producing $25,000 a year in groceries to be used at your discretion. And you can purchase them at any time. If you understand how our farm works, in many ways we're a classic market garden farm. We grow food so that it will mature on a weekly basis. There are approximately 6,000 plants on the farm that were not there last year. And those 6,000 plants represent new foods that are going to become available through Finca Santa Marta, and we're going to be planting more. We're really pushing the moringa, we're going to be pushing the neem. We have 600 new fruit trees to plant. So there's a lot going on the farm. I believe the farm can produce 500,000 pounds of food a year more than it produces, because right now only 15% of the farm is being used to produce food. And yet you have 45 acres. Let's say I'm wrong. Let's say it's 200,000 pounds. And we can do this by doing fruit trees. You know, your average fruit tree is going to produce between 300 and 400 pounds of food a year. Some a little less, some a lot more. Jackfruit trees will produce between 1,000 and 2,000 pounds of food a year. And some of you like jackfruit, some of you don't. But vegans will take green jackfruit and use it as a meat substitute. And create a meat substitute from it. And it's always amazing to me how much time vegans spend creating things that taste like meat. Yes, we do. Yeah, we have 50 certified products on the farm right now, certified organic products. I would like to introduce Lily. Lily, will you stand up and wave your hand? Lily will be your personal representative. And so you can, in your orders and anything you do, she's at Tuesday Market every Tuesday, but Lily will handle making sure that we have good customer relations. And let me say this, I am honored to be able to stand here. I'm honored to be able to present this. And anybody who knows me knows that I will work my tail off to make sure that we earn and keep your trust in this going forward from here. Yes?
Are you a member of the FFA?
I was.
Okay. I come to quite a few projects with the local FFA.
Yeah. I was a member of the FFA. I will tell you one more ag story. My favorite ag teacher was Mr. Tobler. Mr. Tobler was a good Mormon man, classic Wyoming agriculture guy, but he was forced by the school system to teach horticulture. And horticulture 1 was the class that all the drug addicts took in order for an easy A and to learn to grow their pot better. And so I was Mr. Tobler's teacher's assistant my last year, and we were sitting in this class, and he would let them grow their plant, whatever plant they chose to grow, until midterm, and he would have an inspection, and when he came to one that was marijuana instead of tomato, he would pull it out and say, "Huh, boy, you grew a weed. Weeds get F's in my class." And it was too late for them to do anything, so they had to take the class over again. Well, one day these little punks made this wonderful man extremely angry. And he started yelling at them, and he had an old-fashioned round glass eye, and it popped out of his head and landed on his desk and started to roll off his desk. And he grabbed that eyeball and shoved it back in his head, and with his hand over his eye, he said, "Class dismissed." And we had over 3,000 students at Orange High that year, and within 30 minutes, every kid in that school knew that Mr. Cooper had a glass eye and bounced on his desk. But you would have never seen a greater transformation in a class ever. Those kids were absolute angels for the next half a semester. Yes, sir, Mr. Tobler. Whatever you say, Mr. Tobler. they were absolute angels. So that's my ag story. But yeah, I got an eye on you. So, anything else? Any other questions? I don't want to go too long.
Well, how do we go and purchase one of these?
All right.
membership.
I wish I could say we had our act totally together, we had a website page and everything like that. We're gonna move that direction. Lily has papers, if you can get
Just do it at the Tuesday market?
you can do it with Lily today, or you can do it at Tuesday Market. We're gonna keep this open until we sell out, and then we'll do it 4 times a year, 2 weeks each time. But name, address, email address, because that's how we're gonna communicate with you mostly, and your phone number, and you can pay now, or by next Tuesday, we'll have the credit card machine set up. We can do Yappy, or we can do a bank transfer. What? Yes, we can do it at Tuesday Market or here. Okay, and thank you.
2 things. Phil hasn't mentioned 2 things about this program. Those of you that do participate in this, you're going to be in a priority 1 position with Finca Santa Marta. In case of food shortages, you're going to be at the top of the food list. Everybody else is going to be below you. The next thing is that this idea of raising rabbits actually came from the E-Club that Tim Zillmer's trying to form. And many of us actually go to those meetings. Well, I kept listening to the idea, and I realized the E-Club's not official yet. They're not organized, they're not paying dues, they don't have a bank account. So I talked to Phil, and we realized that we have an opportunity within the club to make this happen. So I would assume in 3 to 6 months, this project will be successful as he proved in Uganda. And it will then create a sustainability feature that our club could potentially go to phase 2, because the E-Club wants to go to the comarca through the king and the mayors and the village chiefs to start promoting rabbit hutches and buying the does and the males so they can replicate this project and create a food source there. So this could ultimately become a club project, but we're not there yet. But this is the beginning. Phil, thank you. Really appreciate this.